Hello there, and Merry MSLmas to one and all. May old Saint Doom with his sleigh pulled by mantids bring packs to all the good magic players out there in the world. For tonight is a special night, being the end of the Modern Streamers League Season 2. But as we know with endings, with each ending comes a new beginning. Did you know my wife knit me this hat? And I painted that picture. Oh, many years ago. But let me tell you a story. A story about MSLmas, about magic, and about being sponsored by Wizards of the Coast and Card Order. Twas the night before finals, and according to Mike, not a creature was stirring, except Sasser and Spike. With dreams of a trophy soon in their hands, each player's hope to draw just enough lands. As Twitch chat awaited, emoji game strong, while Redditors pondered whose reign will last long. And Muddy Creek's bracket had one spot to fill. Spike and Drake questioned, which deck gets the kill? When out at LGS arose such a clatter, Fox made up and exclaimed, what's the matter? Look, someone said, eyes drawn to the stream. It's good old Saint Doom with his old ice team. Doom smiled and recalled his prior evening's punts. He recounted the plays which caused several grunts. But the topic tonight on everyone's mind was not on mistakes made in days behind. After some banter and fun playful jest, the casters discussed which deck was the best. Would Luris prove worthy of #1 status? Or would Sasser prove that Titan was baddest? Did Wizards mess up making this silly cat? Will Amulet Titan prove other than that? Less than a day until these riddles solved, until one player stands, while the rest are dissolved. May the best player win, may he live long in glory. May his deck reign supreme, and all tell his story. Now remember, viewers of the world, remember this simple story written by Muddy Creek. 'Twas the night before finals. May the best player win. Welcome back to MSLmas. This is the finals. One more player is going to get eliminated tonight, which means one player is going to walk away with everything. I'm joined once again by Francisco and Andrea, two excellent players who participated in both of our Modern Streamers Leagues. How are you guys doing tonight? Start with Francisco.
I was doing great. Then that video happened, and I'm doing even better right now somehow. So, yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
How about you, Andrea?
I'm doing great as well. Excited to see the finals, to see which player that beat me is the best player of them all.
So, we're having a little bit of flickering going on right now, but just so you guys know, the only people that Andrea lost to this entire tournament are the finalists in the tournament. And I can say something similar. I can say the only people who I lost to are the finalists, but that'd be only 2/3 correct. But Andrea, 3 losses to the 2 finalists in the tournament. Absolutely locked for 3rd place. Fantastic showing in this tournament right now. But who do you think, which of the two players that beat you, do you think is going to, let's just jump in, which of the two players that beat you do you think is going to win tonight?
My pick is on Drake, just because also before the season started, you asked me who would have picked to win the tournament,
Mm-hmm.
and I told you Drake. I mean, it's really close. They're both great players, but I know Drake personally, so just like slight edge in favor for just know him personally. He's a great person in real life, so it's like hoping for Drake, but I wouldn't be surprised aspiring Spike to win because he's a great player.
Mm-hmm. You also lost to Drake twice, and you only lost to Spike once, so that could be part of it too. Francisco, who do you think is going to win tonight?
I mean, both players are amazing, so I don't think there's that much of an edge there. However, the fact that Everard would need to win 2 matches, I would need to beat both of Drake's decks, while Drake only needs to beat one of Spike's
Mm-hmm.
decks, really makes things tilted towards Drake's favor for sure. It's just a numbers game, but I wouldn't be surprised if Everard just goes ahead and just runs it back to back wins. I mean, it got demonstrated that you can lose 3 matches in a row, right? So
I'm glad I'm not the only
two in a
one.
row.
I'm glad I'm not the
shouldn't
only
be
one getting
too
roasted.
much of a, we've seen worse things here at the Modern Streamers League. So just want to throw that out there.
So this tournament, the entire tournament's been played over the last 4 weeks, and it was a triple elimination tournament where each player brought 3 deck lists. So when you lose, you lost that deck list permanently, and you play until you have no more deck lists left. 14 players have been eliminated. Aspiring Spike is in the finals with 1 deck list left, and that deck is Luris Grixis Delver. Drake, on the other hand, has 2 decks left since he's only lost once. Amulet Titan and Jund Luris, or Luris Jund. I don't really know the order we're supposed to say that one in. But either way, 2 decks to 1, and if you look at it on paper, it doesn't look like a favorable matchup for Aspiring Spike for either match. Francisco, you are the Amulet Titan expert. How do you feel looking at Drake's list, which has 2 Cavern of Souls main and 3 Mystical Disputes in the sideboard, up against this Delver deck?
So it's going to be very much dependent on both players' draws, because usually my experience against this deck is that you die to turn 1 Delver that goes unanswered, and then turn 2 Counterspell, turn 3 Counterspell, etc., etc., etc. It's also like, since the printing of Force of Negation, this matchup has become a tad harder because it's a little bit tougher to get ahead thanks to Amulet. However, if basically what I expect to happen is that Spike is going to have the advantage in the early game, and he's going to need to make sure that he's able to push that advantage through the remainder of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because Luro's restriction doesn't really allow Spike to play some sideboard haymakers like Blood Moon or Ashiok, which we have seen in the past from Delver decks. So in that sense, the staying power is going to be very limited. So basically, what Spike is going to have to do is he's going to need to basically stay ahead and basically end the game before Drake manages to stabilize. Because if we make it to the late game,
Mm-hmm.
then I think that Drake's going to handily win that matchup.
Yeah, especially with that Engineered Explosives main board, he can probably use that to clear a couple creatures away. Andrea.
Exactly, and you don't even need too much. I was going to say you probably don't even need that match, because Field of Dead does a really good job at stabilizing against.
Yeah, Field of Dead doesn't block flyers though.
It doesn't block flyers, but yeah, that was what I was gonna say. And it's just like, if the game doesn't end very quickly, then Drake is gonna win pretty easily.
Andrea, what about the Jund versus Delver matchup? You've played a lot of Delver, and you registered Jund here. So what do you think about that particular matchup?
I think the matchup is really close, and it can come. I feel like John maybe have a slight edge, just because if they put some early pressure, like Delver has less ways to answer than John, and the counter spells might be dead. Instead of the kill spells are like more alive, and both of them play discard spells. Also, as we saw yesterday, Drake is really lucky in finding the right card at the right time with Jund. So, but I feel like the matchup is pretty close. Maybe a slight edge to Jund, but not by much.
So it sounds like the consensus is that Drake's decks both have a slight edge against the Delver deck. So that's going to be an uphill battle, not just because Aspiring Spike has to win 2 matches, but because he's slightly unfavored in both matchups. So it'll be kind of interesting. For those who want to check out the deck list, go to modernstreamersleague.com. Go to the deck list tab all the way down. All of the deck lists from all of the players, including the eliminated ones, are there. If you're primarily interested in Drake Sasser's Amulet Titan and Jund deck, and Aspiring Spike's Grixis Delver. The Modern Streamers League is sponsored by Wizards of the Coast and Card Hoarder, and we have only one matchup tonight. It's at those 2 decks against that 1 deck, and to see what ends up happening with all that. I don't know about you guys, but I am really, really anxious to just jump right in and get started here.
Let's go.
You guys ready?
Baby.
All right.
Yes.
Let's go.
Before we do that, though, I just want to take a brief moment to remember the fallen.
Here we have a Spike perspective, so we don't know what Drake is playing yet.
No, but I see no companions, so that means Amulet.
Yes.
Because otherwise we would see a Lurrus revealed over there.
And this hand feels like fine against Amulet. You have Bolt for like Sakura Tribe Scouts. You have Serum Vision set up. You have Force of Negation for Pact or for what's it called, Amulet, and you have a Drawn on the Lock that could be a counter spell, but maybe not.
Yeah, oddly enough, I was going to say Drawn on the Lock is not as good against Relic or Progenitus, but we do see the Force of Vigor, the Force of Negation fired off, actually pitching the Serum Visions, which is really surprising to me, because Spike really needs to find a threat right now.
And Bishop's Bubble kind of acts as a Serum Vision, but it's not as good.
I'm not so psyched, because like he needs, as I was saying earlier when we were talking about this matchup, he needs to get ahead, and right now he is not ahead at all. In fact, Drake is firmly ahead, so he's getting ahead on land drops. He already has access to a castle, which is going to speed up his Titan. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about pitching the Serum Visions there. I think personally I would have pitched the Drawn on the Lock. I do think that you need to get rid of that Relic Opportunities though, because like once it's in play, then it's going to be a really big problem for Spike.
Yes. Also, Drawn on the Lock feels like it's not great against Titan, just because Titan doesn't put that many cards in the graveyard.
No, that's actually a great point. It's more of a matter of it's always gonna counter. Excuse me. It's always gonna counter the pacts, right? Like Drawn on the Lock is basically 2 mana, counter target Summoner's Pact, which is not the worst. Not the worst, but again, we don't want to be playing the long game here. So And we can see that Spike continues fizzling on being able to find a threat. And imagine how different this game is if Spike goes, turn 1, Serum Vision's turn 2, play the what's the name of it? The Sprite Dragon, exactly. We have the Sprite Dragon, and now all of a sudden, not only are we mana leaking something on turn 3 or like forcing this Explorer potentially, but we're also like putting a ton of pressure on Drake to end this game.
Yeah, we're missing the threat from Spike, but it doesn't have many threats in the deck, so it's not guaranteed that you have a threat in hand starting with.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty important here. Okay, yeah, I was going to say, like, if Drake had missed that land drop, that would have been game over. But, yeah, I don't like Spike's position right now at all, really.
Like, we know about Drake has a forest in hand.
Yeah, we know about the forest, which he bounced from with the semi-growth chamber. And now if Drake has a Titan, it's going to be pretty much game over. I do think that if Spike needs to tap out for this lures, I don't think that you can bluff, because I don't know how much Drake can really play around this kind of thing. And yeah, it's really a tough spot for Spike. If he does manage to untap, though, I think his position gets a lot better.
You can counter the Summoner's Pact with the Force of Negation, and hoping that's the only like heavy hitter spell in Drake's hand.
Yeah. At this point, we're basically at he needs to force this. There's no way around it. And at this point, I think I do like pitching the Serum Visions. We already have a threat in play, and it's more of a matter of can we, okay, there's the Titan. I was gonna say it's more of a matter of like making sure that this drawing the lock can counter future summoner specs. But the fact that we actually do have the Primeval Titan means that this is game over.
Yeah, I don't think Spike has any like hard removal spells.
Second Lightning Bolt would be the only thing that I could think of
block
here.
And bolt.
Attack and bolt. It's a really tough way to do it, but you probably have to. But even after you do that, like if just Drake goes and gets a Field of the Dead, or if he just top decks any of the remaining 8 Titans that he has access to, you're still in a terrible shape. Yeah, I guess that we can double bolt plus hold up drawing the lock.
But I feel like Drake would not block if Spike's attacks. I feel like the 3 life difference when you're at 20 go down to 17, it doesn't really matter for Drake.
Yeah,
so you probably don't block.
Exactly. So I think Spike just needs to draw the top deck another Lightning Bolt, and that is not it, folks. And also, well, the fact that Drake actually got a Cavern of Souls there is really bad news for for Spike, because it means that there's probably more Titans from where that one came from. So yeah, I don't like his situation right now.
Yeah, also Drake has like already 6 different named lands, so Field of the Dead, attack get Field of the Dead, and like something else would probably close out the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Unearth. I don't think that does anything for us.
You can cycle it.
Yeah. But we're not drawing. There's nothing we're drawing towards, though, right? So like, there's really no point in cycling it. I wonder why, because he did suck the bubble. So I wonder if he did the scry trick. Oh, so I guess that his plan is to block here with the Lurrus and bolt the Titan, and then on the following turn, unearth the Lurrus.
Yeah, but Drake is gonna have like 2 zombies back, plus whatever he has in the 3 cards in hand.
Yeah, also the existence of Bojuki Bog kind of makes that plan a little bit sketchy. But I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, right? Like, it's not like Spike has a lot of options at this point. Yep, there's the Bojuki Bog. And there is the Field of the Dead as well. Unsurprising. Like, we already want to bog this Mishra's Bubble away, so so the Lurrus doesn't get out of hand. So not surprising there.
Yeah, and this stops like bubble unearth. I mean, you can unearth back lures, but you don't get anything to get back unless you draw like a bubble again. But yeah, it doesn't look great for Spike.
Yeah, and also like we can just transmute the Torrewas that Drake has in play. Yeah, the fact that Lurrus taking over the format has really turned the. In the past, Bojugabog was kind of a flex slot in the main deck of Amulet decks. Since the prevalence of Lurrus, that has not been it hasn't been a flex slot in a long time. So
As Radiant Fountain being the flex slot now.
no, Radiant Fountain is never ever the flex slot because, well, burn is.
Yeah.
you're always gonna find burn, and sometimes it can be kind of randomly relevant. So, but Bojuka Ball has been a flex slot consistently, and now it just isn't anymore. And I love this, like taking your turn to make sure that you can transmute. While use your mana while the game is good, and then there's no need to overextend into something else. We can just chill here. We are getting the Lurrus back, which is a good thing. I don't know how good of a thing that is though, because
another Titan coming.
Yeah, I'm not so worried about the Titan even. It's just like, how are we planning on beating this Field of the Dead?
By Drake not drawing any more lands ever.
So we just won the 31 land deck to not draw any more lands. Sounds about right.
I mean, that always happened to me when I tried to play Titans. Like I always was stuck at 5 mana and never drew the 6 mana.
Fair enough.
Might have been bad keeps, but who knows? That footage was never released.
Impossible to know. Yeah, this is a tough situation for Spike. Let's see what Drake has to add to the table here. We're probably going to be getting Pact of Negation.
Can you pay for Double Pact?
He can very easily pay for Double Pact at this point, yeah.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, you have to take into account the fact that we're adding 2 more lands to the ones that we already have, because those are the ones that the Titan is going to be bringing with himself. So this is probably going to be going to a game 2 very, very quickly. Nope. The second Summoner's Pact is going to do it. And I love that, by the way, right? Instead of countering your opponent's counter, you let that one resolve, and then you cast another one, and you ask the question again to your opponent, like, can you get rid of this one? And if they do, then you counter their second answer, and you only have 1 pack to pay for.
Yeah, played from Drake too.
Yeah, very well played from Drake. It was an interesting keep from Spike again. Like all it came down to was the fact that Spike had no pressure. Like he had no pressure at all, and then he was forced into tapping out on turn 3, and that's when Drake was able to capitalize on it and just punish him for tapping out. So we're definitely hoping for game 2 and 3 that Spike has a little bit of a more aggressive draw, because
turn 1 Delver or turn 2 Sprite should be enough to probably won this game.
Yeah, precisely. So that's definitely what we're looking for in the matchup for sure.
That's what you do. You play Delver because you want that early threat. That basically you play 1 threat and then just kind of protect the queen strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Just like protect Delver and protect yourself from what your opponent does and don't do much else.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like the art of the dragon sprites.
Yeah. I don't love the Fluster Storms in the matchup personally, and this is one of the big deals, and why I always mess with Spike, and I tell him that Fluster Storm is unplayable in Modern, but he loves it. But it's like Fluster Storm doesn't counter Amulet of Vigor, which is the card that you want to counter on turn 1. Okay, this hand is good though. This hand is good. I like this hand. Yes. We have a threat on turn 2. We have the lands that we need. We have the force in case we need to get rid of
amulet.
Yeah, exactly. In case we need to get rid of an amulet, or in post after the games, also potentially a dismember. So, and then we have the Archmage's Charm to, draw cards if we need to, or simply to counter something else. So yeah, this hand is a lot better than the one that we saw in the previous game. All right, what do we have from Drake's side? Force. I think that you probably have to force this.
Yeah. Just
again,
gains you so much time.
Yeah, it's just the tempo play, right? Like you want to make sure that like if you don't want Drake to get ahead of this situation, and Amulet does exactly that. Usually in grindy matchups, Amulet is not that great of a card, but I think this is much more of a tempo matchup than a grindy matchup. So getting rid of the Amulet there is 100% the correct line. I agree very much with what Spike just did.
And also, you can afford to tap out here because there are not too much like scary plays. We have Archmage Charm. You can like catch up because you're not gonna see a Dryad this turn. You might see an Amulet that you might be able to steal with Archmage's Charm if you want to.
Yeah, this is the best case scenario though. Like our opponent just playing a tap land, and we're just moving on to the next turn. This is great for Spike. That's exactly what he wanted to see there. An Explorer could have potentially been a problem, or even a Dismember would have been a problem, right? Because Dismember just slows down the clock entirely. So the fact that we didn't see Dismember and we also didn't see an Explorer, which would have allowed Drake to pull a little bit ahead, means that Spike is firmly ahead at this point.
Yes. Also, I like the upgrade of the Spike did between yesterday and today. Yeah, yesterday when he played against me, he had the regular Dragon Sprite, and today for the finals he upgraded. He went for the fancy version.
The fancy version for sure. Taking this seriously. All right, are we going to see this member here? Ooh, this is huge. This is huge. I do think that in Spike's situation, you need to do this. But Drake having a Dismember there is big game. What's going to happen now?
I think you had to go for the draw too, just because you need to grow the sprite.
Yeah, for sure. No, Spike was 100% correct in doing that. It's just a matter of like that Dismember was pretty backbreaking there.
I feel like here you just pass, and they didn't do anything. You just like try to opt an Archmage's Charm, trying to find a threat. Even a Snapcaster would probably be okay.
I think what Spike is looking for is actually a land, because a land would allow him to Lurrus plus Fright Dragon, or Lurrus plus Mana Leak, which might be even better. So I would imagine that that's what Spike is going for here.
It's going to be curious to see what happens once we see what the scry is.
Mm-hmm.
Or if he has... Probably he needs to use Archmage's Charm for a counter spell this turn, I assume.
Yeah, I would imagine that if he has to use the Archmage's Charm, like if he counters anything, he's going to use the Archmage's Charm here, because the Mana Leak just allows him to double spell if he finds a land, while the Archmage's Charm really delays the double spell turn, which, again, he wants to stay ahead. He wants to be casting more spells than Drake is, because when we start casting the big spells, it's gonna be rough. But yeah, Drake. There's not too much that Drake can do at this point. He is... All right, so he's probably going to be transmuting here, potentially for a Cavern of Souls. This is a very, very straightforward play. It's a very common play pattern, exactly, that Amulet does very often against control decks. So what this does, though, is it does tell me that that Drake is planning on using his mana next turn. Yeah, and we see exactly what I was talking about earlier. Spike definitely going for the land and leaving it on top with the opt. That's exactly what we're looking for. We want to make sure that we can double spell here. Now that he drew the Snapcaster, maybe we don't play the lures. I like this though. I think that this is definitely the correct line. We can get immediate value from it, but now we have a clock. Next turn, the Sprite Dragon's going to come back. Things are looking good for Spike at this point.
So, I'm curious because you could probably play Sprite since they have a Cavern of Souls. This Mana Leak may actually be dead. So you might just want to go for the sprite, so you can like opt and bolt next turn and put on pressure.
Yeah.
But
This is
actually paid off.
yeah, this is what I was gonna say. He actually wants to make sure that he has an answer to Dryad, right? Because if we counter the Dryad, if Drake goes for the Dryad and he makes the Dryad uncounterable, that means that potentially the Titan on the following turn, unless Drake has a bounce land as well, the Titan on the following turn is going to be counterable, right? Because
Yes.
he cannot name both Titan and Giant and Dryad with the Cavernous. All right, so we do see the Spy Dryad coming back. Makes sense.
Opt for a bubble. I guess you keep it just because it grows the sprite.
It grows a Sprite Dragon, and at this point, we don't really care too much about counter magic, right?
Yeah,
So we're probably gonna.
power.
Yeah, so I think that Spike is just trying to make sure that he deals the most amount of damage this turn with this Sprite Dragon, and then he cleans things up with this Lightning Bolt plus Snapcaster.
Yeah, I mean, if Drake doesn't gain life, he's dead so many ways.
Yeah, even if he manages to gain life, he's gonna need to gain life and make sure and make it so he can stop this snap bolt.
Yeah, and you have a 6/6 flyer with the double bolt.
Yep.
Plus Seal of Fire is like a 7/7 flyer. Plus the damage from bolt. Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be a great turn for Spike.
Yeah.
Probably gonna get.
This seems like it's a little bit too much. So I think that Spike is going to be able to take this one home. Yeah, and we see it, the shock, right? The shock from in order to transmute, in order to make the tempo play. It might cost Drake a little bit, maybe not too much, because he's still dying to this Sprite Dragon, right?
Yes.
And this is what I keep saying, this is why this hand was good, because it had Sprite Dragon. If this hand hadn't had Sprite Dragon, then we would have played the exact same game that we played the last time, right? Like no pressure, only pressure being a Luros on turn 3. And what that means is that when Titan comes down, it just takes over immediately. Now the Titan cannot take over because Drake is at a low enough life total that stabilizing both in terms of the life and in terms of the board is just impossible. But yeah, very, very well played by Spike. And it all started on turn 1, right? He played his land, and he forced the amulet.
Yes.
If he hadn't if he hadn't forced that amulet, that game would have played entirely different. So really well played by Spike. All right, any changes that we want to make for game 3, Andrea? How do you feel about this?
I feel like maybe Spell Snare. I mean, it's narrow, but I feel like I don't know how many Explore Drake is playing. You might probably put one in instead of Seal of Fire. I feel like Seal of Fire doesn't do much besides some damage, so you might like put one Spell Snare in. Just for being on the draw, you need to catch.
Storm counters the Spell Snare on turn 1, and it also counters the Summoner's Pact on turn 5 or something. And it can, even though it might not actually counter the Summoner's Pact, it at least kind of time walks Drake in that it's going to force him to like spend one turn paying for his pact if he wants it to resolve, and then on the following turn he's only going to be able to cast his Titan.
Yeah, I love this hand from Spike's perspective. You have like Force of Negation for Amulet, you have Delver, and you have like a Serum Vision to set up a second land.
Yeah, we really need a second land kind of desperately, but I think this is a keep, and you're very, very happy to keep. You have 3 looks at a second land, so it's not the worst. You have 3 looks at it, and again, we have pressure, right? Which is what we've been talking about consistently throughout this entire match. So yeah, big fan of this hand. Spike keeps, unsurprisingly, and wow. All right, he goes with the turn 1 Serum Visions. He's too afraid of not hitting his land drop.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay. I guess it makes sense also to an extent, because if you have a Delver, right, on turn 1, and you don't find the land, you find a spell, then that means that you're not hitting your land drops, right? And if you
Yeah.
find a land, you're only attacking for 1. So how much pressure is that really? You know?
Yeah, I feel like it's. I don't know. I haven't played Delver in Modern in a while, but for example, in Legacy, it's like depending on the matchups, like you just want to like blind play Delver in turn 1,
Mm-hmm.
and it's sort of like a Ponder or a Brainstorm, depending on what the matchup is and what's your end is shaped like. But I think if you were Legacy, I would just play like blindly Delver against like some like big mana strategy. Just
Yeah.
because if Delver, even if Delver flips and you don't find a second land, it's not too horrible. But the problem with Serum Vision is like you don't draw the first card. You don't have the selection of the first card you draw.
Yeah, and that might be the difference, right? If you're playing Legacy, you can just ponder, where you get to look at 3 cards, and then if you find a land, you draw it immediately. You can play it immediately. Whereas Certain Visions doesn't allow you to do that, right?
Yeah, we need to add Ponder to Modern.
Yeah. Also, let's not go there. Also, another thing that I was gonna say is maybe Spike is simply putting a lot of a higher stock on the Sprite Dragon as opposed to the Delver, which is definitely an interesting take, and it's probably actually what's going on. Because by guaranteeing the second land drop, we make sure that we have a Sprite Dragon in play instead of a Delver that might or might not flip. Though at that point, why are you playing Delver in Modern to begin with? But
Yeah, I mean, I've tried so many times, and I feel like I like the strategy. I feel like the strategy is fine, but Delver is probably like the weakest card of the deck. I could
yeah,
see you playing like a deck with just like 4 sprites, 4 snapcasters, and depending what happens with companions, maybe like 4 Gurmag or like few Gurmag instead of.
yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense to me. And I love what Drake did there, by the way. Do you see that he played it? He could have played. He had the balance land, right? So he could have gone Amulet into play my Asusa, but he says, okay, but if Spike does have the Force, then I don't even get to play my Asusa this turn. So I basically get delayed by a very relevant margin. So he made sure his Asusa resolved. He made all of his landers, and after that, he cast the amulet into what could have been, and it actually was, a Force of Negation. So super tight play right there by Drake.
That's why these two guys are in the finals right now.
Yeah, no kidding.
Really tight players, really good players.
No kidding. All right, so here, basically, we look at this hand, and I see that Spike is in great shape. So the only really bad thing that could happen right now is if Drake goes Cavernous Souls into naturally drawn Titan. If that happens, then Drake is going to be in a commanding position. If that does not happen, then Drake is going to be in a commanding position. Then Spike is going to be in a commanding position. Sorry, Spike Drake. I'm gonna get it down by the end of today's stream. I promise.
It's like 5-letter word, really close to.
1 syllable. Spike, Drake. Spike, Drake. I'm gonna get it. Don't worry about it. Yeah, Drake really pondering over this turn. You see what I did there? Pondering, yeah. Yeah, that one was for you, Andrea. Hope you enjoyed it. But we see him really thinking this turn through. He's trying to figure out, okay, what could Spike have? How do I play around that? What can I play around? What can't I play around? What if he has a Fluster Storm for my Summoner's Pact, or stuff like that?
Usually, when I played against Drake yesterday, what he thought for like a few minutes, it meant that I was dead. Like every time he thought for a few minutes, he turn 3 killed me, and then he just like had a really good board set up on turn 3 in the second game. So I feel like I would be worried if it were Spike right now.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing is that he has a lot of say about what's going to happen right now. Just comfortably chilling in his chair. By the way, loving the playmats in the background. Look, big fan of that. What do we have? Mox Sopol, Ladder Elves, Force of Will. There's some nice playmats over there.
Is that Hostage Taker, the one in the middle right?
Yeah, Hostage Taker, that's it. And I cannot identify a couple of them, but those are some nice playbets. Ooh, that's Oblivion Stone, Aether Vial. All right, by the end of the stream, can we figure out all of Spike's playmats in the background? That is the new goal for today's stream. All right, we see some action. Simigo's Chamber, probably going to be bouncing that forest, I would assume. So Drake's still with 3 cards in hand, and all of them are unknown to Spike. We didn't see any Inquisition of Kozilek or anything like that, because Spike doesn't play it. Nothing revealed to something like Ancient Steerings.
That's interesting, not playing discard spells in this Grixis strategy.
I think it makes sense to an extent. I mean, it is
Your heavy
it is a
counter
tempo
spell.
deck. It is a tempo deck, and you are discard spells are by definition tempo negative, so it does make sense. I wonder if we're going to see like a naked Snapcaster right now.
I would.
Yeah. Love it.
It's just like you almost cannot afford like to throw away an Azusa unless you have another one.
I mean, I think that we've gotten a lot of value from this Azusa, but like you are limiting a lot of Drake's potential lines if this Azusa dies, which is. Yeah, so Drake does take the trade. He knows that he needs to stem the bleeding.
That's
wow.
Interesting.
Okay,
I mean, that
playing
means
the
maybe
Delver.
they didn't have Titan last turn.
Yeah,
So he's
I
banking
suspect,
that he has like maybe a Summoner's Pact instead of drawing Titan.
Yeah, and also at this point, Mana Leak doesn't even counter a Titan, right? Because thanks to Castle Garenbrig and the forest that Drake has in hand,
Yeah.
he can very, very easily play through a Mana Leak. Okay, what are we going to see here? Is this going to be an Explore, maybe? Explosives. Okay, we have to force that one.
Yeah, per pitch in the Mana Leak, I assume.
That's what I imagine, yeah. Yeah, I agree with that for sure. Yeah, that Engineered Explosives would have basically... I think that if that Engineered Explosive resolves, Drake just wins. That's how I would call it. So
it depends. Like if Spike like hits land into like play Lurus, get back something else.
Oof, second Sprite Dragon, okay. So this is this lethal next turn? No, it's not.
That's 3, 4, 5 right now.
So if the Delver flips and Drake plays anything into this Force of Negation, then we do actually have lethal. Is that correct? Yeah. Yeah, and I think that we're going to see a transmute for the Pact. Or honestly, I wouldn't be. That's what I was going to say. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a transmute for Explosives. It's going to go for the Pact. But then we have the Force for that, and if this Delver flips, that's going to be GG's. Oof! Wow.
I'm gonna guess it's gonna flip to a Bolt.
Flip to Bolt. That's it. That's the best flip possible. Yeah, we see Spike crossing his fingers. Here we go. Can we flip the Delver? Even if he doesn't flip the Delver, he's probably still in great shape.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Considering the fact that Drake had to transmute for this Summoner's Pact, I would assume that he does not have access to a Titan. Here we go, Spike. What you got? What's the top of the deck? Oof. He does have the Cavern. Wait, is his last card a Titan? There's no way the last card is a Titan.
No.
No, there isn't. Okay.
Dazzling Shores.
Dazzling Shores is not something that flips the Delver.
Yeah, also there is no bubble that would have added 2 counters to the sprites. I mean, it's probably gonna go like a 2. I assume it's 4, 5, 6, 7, not 3.
Well, but Engineered Explosives doesn't do it anymore, right? Because we can just replay our threat.
Yeah, and you have like 3 different mana costs.
Drake doesn't have it. There we go.
And we go to the final match. Like
that's
the
last
best.
One. That's the best. Like that concession lag. Oh man, that's like a drug. That's like a drug. I just cannot get enough from the concession lag. Oh, such a great feeling.
Amulet Titan falls to Grixis Delver Aspiring Spike still alive. Jund Loris is all that remains on Drake's side. Both these players tied at 1 deck apiece now. We have 1 match left in the Modern Streamers League. Andrea, is that what you thought was going to happen?
I was thinking that either I was beating like Drake in one match, so we had one less match, or that like in the finals, like the guy on top would have won like the first match, so we would not have like extra matches, but we're actually playing all the possible matches in the league. Like,
Yeah.
so that's good.
Every single. We're just giving people all the content. So someone got in Drake's ear and was like, "Hey, you got to lose this because we need to watch one more match tonight."
I mean, that's what I did. I lost the first one for you, and then I lost the second one for the crowd.
What about the third one? Who'd you lose the third one for? Did you lose it for Spike?
Yeah, I mean, it's like he has a PT invite. I want to like boost a bit his ego because before of the Pro Tour. So I'm just here helping everybody else.
Just a crowd pleaser, Andrea. Just a crowd pleaser.
Perfect. And now we have Delver against Jund. So we were wondering if we were going to have an all Loris finals, and the answer was no, because Drake Sasser had Amulet Titan. But scratch that, Amulet Titan's been eliminated, and now we have an all Loris finals final match.
Yep. Yeah, and all of that. One thing that I wanted to point out is everybody talks about like the impact of cards from Modern Horizons, right? It's really hard to forget about Hogak. That was actually a legal card in the Modern format for way more than it should have been. Everybody complains about how Astrolabe is absurd. Everybody complains about how Ren and 6 is absurd. But how about Force of Negation, though? How about Force of Negation? Can we ban Force already? Drake would have won that game easily. Smooth sailing. If it weren't for Force of Negation. Force of Negation countering the Engineering Explosives and the Summoner's Pact, both while allowing Spike to just tap out in order to present the threats. Huge.
Tap out, grow his dragon flying creatures just a little bit more for 0 mana. Yep.
Yeah, just insane. Ban Force of Negation. You heard it here first.
I'm not saying that, but for instance.
What's the problem? So just don't play like non-creature spells, and then you're fine.
Absolutely, play humans.
Also, it's like 60 ticks in Magic Online too. So I don't want to buy the copies that I need. So they just ban it. It's easier.
Ban it because it's easier than paying for it. Completely understandable. You guys heard it here first. Francisco wants Force of Negation out of Modern. Force of Negation, however, is still going to be probably a key card in the next matchup with Delver against Jund. We are going to be right back with the final match of Modern Streamers League Season 2.
And here we are for the final match of this season.
The grandest finals. The last one. Aspire Spike on Lurus Delver versus Drake on Lurus Jund. Some kitty on kitty violence. How do you like this starter over here? Spike on the play, by the way.
It's okay, but the Serum Vision needs to hit a land, otherwise yours. I would have liked if it was like a black land more than a.
Yeah, we take those probably as well. This is nice though. Like we have access to counterspell, which are not at their best in this kind of matchup. Usually, you're playing off the top against John style decks, so you kind of don't want to have access to counter magic as much. Though lately, Lurus has kind of changed the face of that a little bit, right? We don't have access to Liana of the Veil anymore, which was a mainstay in John's strategy. And
Or Bloodbraid Elf that was giving you the card advantage.
Or Bloodbraid Elf, exactly. But good old John is still doing John things. We're gonna see Inquisition in the turn 1.
This is an interesting pick. I feel like it's gonna be most depending on Drake's hand. Could have been Bolt if Drake has like a Bob. Otherwise, I feel like Snapcaster might be the pick, or Unearth.
Yeah, if you want this game to go long, you definitely have to take the Snapcaster, right? That's your card advantage situation, especially because like Unearth, Snapcaster Unearth is just
it's so good,
so gross. We see the bolt going. Okay, so this definitely tells me that Drake's plan involves his threat surviving, whatever that threat is.
Yeah, I feel like he's gonna be Dark Confident because Goyf would have survived. Or might be a Scavenging Ooze.
Yeah, or maybe he's trying to set up his own lures. It seems too early for that. You don't want to expose the lures too early in this kind of grinding matchup.
Yeah, I feel like in this matchup, lures is gonna be a play when you have at least 5 lands, if not more.
All right, there goes the Sprite Dragon, swinging in for 1. That art is so cute too. Big fan of that alternate art.
Yeah, I got some Japanese collector boosters and I opened a foil one in Japanese of that art. It's so nice.
Nice, sexy. All right, let's see, Drake. What were you trying to protect?
I feel like Bob is the most likely.
It might also have been a tempo play, right, from Drake, meaning that Bolt is the only spell that really allows Spike to double spell. Because everything else, I mean, I guess it's going to have Snapcaster Bolt next turn with the land, though Drake does not know about the land.
Yeah, any of the 2 lands that he drew.
No, he knows about 1 because he bubbled him.
I bubbled him?
Like, he doesn't know about the second one. Yeah, so I guess that he was trying to protect his Scavengers. But the land drawn for Spike is going to be great. So that's going to bolt the Scavengers, get rid of that problem for now. It's going to come back when Lurus comes back, obviously. But we're going to get rid of the Scavengers. We're going to grow the Sprite Dragon just a little bit.
Also, drawing Black Swords is really good for Spike.
Yep. Yeah, he definitely wouldn't mind another one of those Black Sorcerers, so he can Lurus plus Bubble in the same turn, again growing the Sprite Dragon. It's crazy how quickly this creature grows in this matchup. in any matchup, really. In this deck, I mean, oof, that's big.
Did you watch the matchup yesterday when I was playing Burn? That his Sprite got like up to like a 9/9, I think. It was like blocking all of my threats and got so big.
It's insane. It's insane. It grows so quickly. It's crazy. Okay, so we're unearthing the Sprite Dragon. Okay, so I guess
Mana Leak.
We get Delver plus Leak. Yeah, I mean, let's slam that gas pedal, says Spike. Let's get this game over with. You have a Bob going, so we want to just, of course, make sure that we try to end this game as soon as possible, because in the long game, Bob is going to win, because always Bob wins in the long game.
Yeah, but Drake's hand looks great. You have Renin 6 to deal with Bantred. Or you can play like Lurus plus Seal of Fire.
That's huge. That's huge. This is not a minor thing though. Like Spike actually casting that Malik, making it so the Ren cannot kill the Sprite Dragon.
Yes, that's really good.
That's kind of big game right there.
But then
So
Ren 6 dies. Because I think you have to kill Delver.
Yeah, I assume we're gonna minus on the Delver while the getting is good. Yeah.
And you have Black Swords for Spike.
Yeah, Black Swords is good. Now we get to cast Lurus, and probably I think that we probably just get the bubble, right?
Yeah, I feel like Delver's gonna die to Renin. I mean, you're gonna kill Renin 6, but then they can like play Lurus and get Renin 6 back.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like what you want to be doing.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, the bubble was probably the best play.
Huh. Okay, so Bob's going under the bus, which is not crazy, honestly. But yeah, we are seeing. Oof, that Seal of Fire is huge. That Seal of Fire is huge. Okay, so now the Lurus is going to die. Spike's Lurus is going to die. And I guess we're drawing towards a Snapcaster. Snapcaster is the best draw for him.
Yeah, there's still an Unearth in the graveyard, so you can like Snapcaster Unearth and Unearth the Lurus.
Yes, that seems like the best thing we could probably do. Okay, Lurus comes out. Yeah, important to note that this Ren doesn't have a fetch land to get back, which is kind of a big deal.
I mean, you don't get value, but just... Also surprised that the Renin 6 is still alive. Did Spike not attack Renin 6 last turn?
Yeah, I think he did, but he actually... Yeah, he got super punished by not attacking with the Sprite Dragon as well. So he was thinking that if he kills the Ren, then he actually he's gonna get it back, right? Because of the Lurus. But by not attacking it, now it allowed Drake to actually answer, use the Seal of Fire plus the Ren minus to answer the Sprite Dragon, and now.
So the Fetchland is a big draw for Drake because he's gonna get access to green source.
A second green source, and Spike knows that after that Lurus is gone, the game is just over. Right, going to sideboarding. What do you like?
Tomra's Crypts, probably. I don't like many of the counter spells. They're like a bit too clunky. Delver is also not great in this matchup, but I don't know what I would bring in. Maybe some more Seal of Fire. Brutality doesn't feel great either in this matchup.
Yeah,
so for deciding that they're like 3 Crypts for like 3 Delvers, or Seal of Fire.
Yeah.
Force of Negation is not great either.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like I'm not excited about any cards from our sideboard, and I just want to take cards from my main deck in this matchup.
I mean, I think the Crypt is fine enough against Lurus.
Yeah, I think we have way too many bad cards, unfortunately for us. And we see the cost of playing a card like Tormod's Crypt over something like Nihil Spellbomb. I think that you would be extremely happy to bring a Nihil Spellbomb style card in this matchup. But Tormod's Crypt is not Nihil Spellbomb, right? It's a lot better against the decks where you really want that effect, like the combo decks, for example, against stuff like Storm, against stuff like Dredge. You want the Tormod's Crypt, and that's a lot better than Nihil Spellbomb, right? But in this kind of matchup, like the grindy ones, where both players are just using their graveyards only for value, the card that you're missing by playing Tormod's Crypt, which if you were playing Nihil Spellbomb, you would just cantrip. Now you don't have that luxury here, right? So you're actually using a card to exile your opponent's graveyard and nothing else. And that's not too great.
And I think Drake has access to Nihil Spellbomb instead of Tomra's Crypt.
Yeah, which are going to be huge in the matchup. So that's yet one more point towards Drake in this matchup.
Yeah, I feel like the Spike deck doesn't line up too well against Drake's deck. I think you can still win, but it's not like the perfect lineup.
Yeah, you definitely need things to go your way to win. This is a nice hand though. We have a nice little combination of spells and lands. We do have a threat. We do have the Dorat. Though this is very different to the previous matchup that we saw before, right? Like having a threat on turn 2 is not as important in a matchup like Jund because it's just gonna die, right? So
Yes, but I feel like the amount of stress that you have to have needs to be like higher, and they need to survive. So I don't
yeah,
even know if you want to play it in face of possible Ren and 6 and Spike
yeah.
understands that and just passes turn.
Great. This is just beautiful. This is a beautiful play. He's
Beautiful
going to
play.
fetch to prevent taking damage from his shock land, save a life total in these early games, and then he's going to deploy the Sprite Dragon. I imagine when he can finally protect it from Earthfall Run 6 at least.
Yes, you can like leave up Bolt and opt depending on what happens and
Yeah,
protect it.
although I'm not sure that he wants to use this opt, right? Because the opt is actually what is allowing him to protect the Sprite Dragon. Yeah,
Yeah. Now you're
there he
not gonna
is.
play it right now for sure. You're gonna hold it up for a possible run in 6
Mm-hmm.
and
Huh.
hoping not Seal of Fire.
Yeah, Niall Spellbone comes down. It's pretty rough. It's pretty rough. And another land, I was saying that we like lands. We don't like this many lands.
I mean, I think 5 lands is good if you don't draw any more lands for the rest of the game.
Yeah,
Because I
this
think you
is.
want Lurrus plus 2 lands. Or maybe 3 more if you have a Snapcaster and they don't have Spellbomb, so a lot of ifs. But in this board state, yeah, I think 5 is plenty.
Yeah, this Spellbomb definitely big game right now. Because it is minimizing the impact of Lurus considerably just by being here. It doesn't even need to do anything. Just by being there, we're minimizing the impact of Lurus by a lot. And okay, are we gonna see the -1? There's no way we're seeing the -1, right?
I mean, probably because otherwise, Ren and 6 are dead from Lurus and Seal of Fire. But yeah, Spellbomb, yeah.
You do have Spellbomb though, and you are drawing one less card, right? That is the reason, because you're getting a land back with Ren if you minus there.
No
Huh.
fire. I think you kind of have to find do the opt just because you need to find threats. And Arbitrage's Charm is fine, but I don't think it's like the best card right now.
Yeah, that was beautiful by Drake, by the way, right? Like using the Steel of Fire in order to make sure that the Sprite Dragon dies instead of doing something like minusing the Ren, making sure that now the Ren is up to 4 loyalty, and he actually drew a card. He drew a land, never going to be visiting his land drop anymore. Love that play by Drake.
Yeah, I feel like Drake is already ahead.
Yeah, wow. All right. This is a big sign of weakness. So yeah, so he's basically saying to Drake, you're gonna have to crack your Spellbomb right now
For no value. I
for
mean,
no value. Yeah,
some
you're gonna be.
value, but not drawing a card. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You're not gonna draw a card from this Spellbomb because otherwise the Ren dies. So I don't like this. I don't like that though, because now like the Bolt got exiled for no reason. I would have liked Spike to wait for the Nihil Spellbomb trigger to resolve, because now if we draw a Snapcaster, we cannot Bolt. So that was a very small misstep over there from Spike.
What might be a big game if Snapcaster has been
Yeah,
drawn.
if he top decks exactly Snapcaster, he's going to be very sad that happened. Yeah, so Lurus is gone now. We can draw a Nerth or something like that, but even still, that's not like insane. Okay, so we have a Croxa.
Yeah, discard the land. I think drawing the lock against John is actually really good because they fill out the graveyard really fast. So drawing the lock is like counter spell, kill spell, almost unconditional.
Yeah, funny enough though, Croxa is really good against running the lock.
Yeah.
Which is pretty funny. All right, so what do we see here? An opt. All right. 3 cards from Drake, plus of course the companion, right? Which he has not deployed just yet.
Yeah, I feel like just play like Lurus and just like flashback Croxa for just discard value.
Okay, so I guess that we're just going for the Croxa line, or is this might be a colorless command?
Well, yeah. I mean, you also have Radiant 6 in the graveyard. I forgot about that card in the graveyard.
All right, here we go. Lurus. It's Lurus o'clock. Trying to figure out what we're going to use to counter. I like this. We're using the more mana efficient card. It could potentially be a 2-for-1, but that is a 2-for-1.
Veil of Summer.
Oh, wow.
Drake always has it at the right time.
Ugh, that's going to be really tough to come back from now. Oof, that Veil of Summer was huge.
Yes.
Yeah, that's another thing that we were mentioning, like the changes of this new version of John, like with Lurus, and the cost that we're incurring, right? We can't play Liliana, we cannot play Bloodbraid. However, now that we don't have Liliana, a card like Veil of Summer becomes a lot more exciting. And we see these new John lists kind of like rocking some number of Veil of Summers.
Yeah, I feel like Veil of Summer is sometimes it's like the best card you can have, and sometimes it just like stays in hand forever and nothing happens.
Yeah, for sure.
But Spike deck has like so many counter spells, more than Drake has discard spells too. So it's like,
yeah, this is brutal. Yeah, I was gonna say I wouldn't be surprised if Spike just lets this resolve.
they're gonna take running the lock anyway.
Yeah, they're gonna take the draw 100%. So you want to give them less information from this opt. Yeah, it seems really tough to come back from this.
Crocs are coming back.
We're gonna see the Croxa escaping here. It's just these Nihil Spellbombs, man. And this is what I was saying earlier. Look at how much value is getting denied for Spike, right? Like how little value he was able to get from these lures, and all because of this stupid Nihil Spellbomb.
So opt for the. Yeah, I feel like this is not a good draw. It's gonna discard that card.
Yeah, it's gonna get discarded. Yeah, we're hoping for a mana leak or another drawing the luck there.
And now you need Fatal Push, but even Fatal Push is not the best because they can recast Croxa.
Yeah, they have exactly enough to cast the Crocs out one more time. It would mean that they would exile it on Lurus, but I don't like that.
Events on top, and it's probably game.
Yeah, I was gonna say like we're gonna draw that card. I mean, I guess that Spike just says, okay, I'm not winning this. I just cannot beat this Croxa anyway. So that was just like a scoop. So it didn't really matter. He just wanted to pick at the top card of the deck. But that's it, folks.
We have our champion.
Cesar is going to be the champion of the Modern Streamers League Season 2.
Andrea called it.
Andrea called it.
At the start of the league, Andrea said, Drake Sasser is going to win this tournament.
Easy.
Easy.
To be fair, though, we have seen Drake play beautifully throughout this entire tournament. Every match where he was playing, he was, thinking about his plays. He was being careful. He was sequencing his spells in the best possible way. He was trying to figure out stuff like, like transmute for Summoner's Pact. We saw this right now in order to make you use your force. Then, okay, here's my Titan. I have one already. I just wanted to know what your hand was. You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of stuff. Really felt great, honestly, and he's a very, very worthy champion. And of course, Evert on second place, of course, playing beautifully through the entire tournament. Definitely using that Grixis Delver deck to do a lot of the winning for him, right? Because that was the one that actually scored most of his victories.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he went to the elimination bracket pretty quickly, and then rode the
Yeah,
elimination bracket
just never.
With Delver.
Yeah, destroying it with Delver until literally the last possible match.
Francisco,
Great.
what was your favorite moment so far of MSL Season 2? Or I guess of
Oof.
MSL Season 2.
You're killing me here, dude. All right. I was a big fan of actually a recent one which was great that I enjoyed a lot. Andrea playing Burn, and I saw that sweet bluff against Aspiring Spike where he had a Goblin Guide in hand, and we could see him, but Spike couldn't. So there's a Seal of Fire on board, and instead of playing the Goblin Guide and like running to the Seal of Fire, he's holding the Goblin Guide in hand and plays a Swiss Spear and attacks with it, holding the Goblin Guide in hand to bluff that he had a spell to grow the Swiss Spear, and Spike just takes the damage. And those are the details, right? Those are the small little details that really make Magic great. Those tiny points of damage when you're playing the burn deck. How to try to maximize. Okay, how can I guarantee this damage from happening? Even when you don't have the best draws, right? Like trying to play to your outs and try to figure out a way to squeeze that very last that very last percentage point. It really felt great. Also, your punts the other day, they were definitely a highlight of the MSL for sure, for sure.
I'll have to highlight that section as what not to do when playing Modern.
Exactly. It was a beautiful learning moment for everybody. Hopefully for you more than anybody else, but it was a beautiful learning moment.
I wish it could have been a learning moment for me, but I knew I made a mistake as I did it.
Hope you learn from it.
Andrea,
Best.
what was your favorite moment of the Modern Streamers League Season 2?
It's hard to pick. It's like throughout all the nights, there was always like one or two plays that were like really amazing, that actually changed the game. Just to remind a few, like Garrett Martin patting his own creature to hit the third land drop against you.
Against me. Yep, he beat me there.
Or the other one was Kevin Poncelet that Ghost Quarter to play the land on top to play Displacer. That also was a good one. I mean, it was like a lot of like really small, great moments, and that was really nice to see like play like experts with decks just playing decks and see the ins and outs and learn from them, because a lot of the decks I know what they do more or less, but I never could imagine of like most of the plays that they did and why they did them. And just watching all of the matches throughout the league, I learned a lot. So it's just like a lot of like small learning lessons every match of the league. That was, I cannot pick like the best moment besides you losing.
That was a great time. I enjoyed that a lot too.
I think it's the chat's favorite too.
Yeah, big. Everybody loves some bad beats, same
Yep.
stories.
Yep.
They're the best.
Still went 5-3. Just saying.
All right. Yeah. Also, like the fact that all three of my wins were with Astro Ren was just hilarious.
That deck was a
sweet
blast to watch.
Hilarious. I didn't expect Astro Ren to do that much winning, but it was far and away my most winning deck. Most Faithful Amulet and 5-color Nib, both of them failed me miserably. And then Astro Ren was there to pick up the slack, and I beat Neoform somehow.
Yep.
Still trying to figure that one out. I have no idea what happened there. And the match against Ryan was amazing. I still remember that one against the Urosa deck, and just Astral Rain casually outgrinding the companion deck. Like, for real? Right? Why do you have a dude hanging out there? Like, you could just be cycling and linking creatures. Like,
you don't
why?
need an
What's the
eighth
point?
card in your starting hand. You can completely accept a 3-mana doesn't do anything till you cycle a card enchantment. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. and win easily, outgrind it easily. I think I went to this card multiple times and I ended the game with like 2 Thragtusk in my hand that I never got to cast.
Yeah.
It was great. I love that match for sure. It was a great time.
Fantastic moments so far from the Modern Streamers League, but unfortunately, season 2 is over. It's been a month, guys. I can't believe it.
It was a long one. It was short, but it was long at the same time. Like a month is a long time to
Yeah.
play a lot of Magic and watch a lot of Magic. But it felt it just like went through so fast.
Yeah, for real it did. But it was great. I thought like the decks that people brought to the table were amazing. We saw actually very little repetition, right? Like most people, I think that the decks that got repeated the most were Amulet
Mm-hmm.
and
Neoform, I think, was three.
Neoform
3 Amulet,
was he
3
there
Neoform,
somehow?
3 Dredge.
3
Thanks to
Dredge, but
Sodak being 2 of them.
yeah, I was gonna say like Sonic was 2 of those. So
I mean,
those-
there was a lot of 2-offs, like 2 humans. No, there was 3 humans.
3 Jund, too.
Yeah.
yeah, but there was a lot of very different decks. There was a lot of cool decks. Spider Spaces, Breach, Lurus deck was a delight, an absolute delight. Still have no idea how you beat him through all that nonsense, but
Karn, the
Karn,
Great Creator, wins by
Karn is
himself.
pretty good. I mean, at least we found the deck's weakness. We did, but that deck was beautiful. Then we had the Gruul Obosh deck from Fluffy Wolf, which was pretty sweet. We had Spike's Soul Rider deck, was also beautiful. That was a lot of fun. We had a lot of really cool decks and some people trying out some new things for the Modern Streamers League, and then having some fallback plans, of course. but we did see some great decks and some great players as well, of course.
So congratulations again, Drake Sasser, first-time player in the Modern Streamers League, walking away with our triple elimination tournament trophy. Of course, it's a digital trophy, so there you go, Drake. Congratulations, well earned. Not only did Drake do very well in the commentating booth, but also played, as you guys have mentioned, very, very well. I want to quickly thank some people. Muddy Creek made not just that awesome poem that I read while dressed as Old Saint Doom at the beginning of the show, but also managed the entire bracket for the entire league, which was a good deal of work. So thank you, Muddy Creek. Thank you, Chris Manbat, for the co-founder of the MSL, for making all this cool art and all the overlays and everything else that we get to see. Thank you, Ian Cat, for all the awesome music that we get to listen to in the Modern Streamers League. Thank you, Fox Mitten, for being the best mod.
The best? Is that confirmed now?
Confirmed, yeah. Fox Mitten.
Confirmed best mod? All right, good job.
Yep.
Good job.
Fox Mitten is in both the Amulet Titan Discord and the Creature Toolbox Discord. So I believe it's her intention to be a mod of every single thing in Discord. So could happen.
I'm into it. I mean,
yep,
all around mod extraordinaire. Beautiful job.
So, and I also want to thank Kevin KO Diamonds for going 1-3 in this league. It was a real boost in my confidence when my biggest critic, my harshest critic, and my good friend Kevin went 1-3 in the Modern Streamers League.
You love to see it. What's more exciting, KO Diamonds going 1-3 or Saint Doom losing? How do you feel, Andrea? What's your vote?
I feel like Saint Doom losing was probably better overall.
Yeah, I agree.
Because of all the ego that he created after the first league. I'm the best and nobody can beat me. And now we just got it back to earth.
To be fair, I didn't say that. I think Sean had said a lot of that. He was building up that I was this unstoppable winning machine. because I won 10 matches in a row. And I was not telling him otherwise. I wasn't saying otherwise. I wasn't going to stop someone from complimenting me. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I think that the best thing that we figure out is that Siege Rhino is completely unplayable. And if you're registering Lingering Souls, you are just a sad person. It's just what it is.
Lingering Souls
Kevin?
in 2020. That's like running Electrolyze. I didn't see any Electrolyze in that Grixis Delver deck. Did you? Did you guys see Electrolyze there? It just
No.
those are cards that Modern has passed by.
Oh yeah, power creep.
I mean, I feel like with Affinity dying because of Mox Opal, like Electrolyze is unplayable right now. Before it was borderline playable because of Affinity, and now it's unplayable.
Culligan's command also kind of jumped up the power level there. It's like, would you rather deal 2 damage, spread out, draw a card, or cast Culligan's command?
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough, but hopefully Kevin learned. That is my only hope. That is my only hope for this MSL. The only hope for this MSL is that Kevin finally learned that Lingering Souls and Siege Rhino are just not playable modern cards, and he moves on with his life. I just want him to find himself. I want him to find happiness, and I want him to become a better human being by not playing those cards. Friends don't let friends play Siege Rhino.
Unfortunately, now he's playing 4 Siege Rhino, 4 Restoration Angel, Yorian. He just 5-0'd with it, so yeah.
Old habits die hard, they say, huh?
Thank you, Francisco, very much for, as always, your great commentary. Thank you, Andrea, very much as well. You guys have been fantastic all season long. 2 of the people I have in the booth, the most between the first and the second Modern Streamers League, representative from Team Ice and Team Fire. So you guys
winning Team Fire.
Winning Team Fire, yeah.
Good old Team Fire.
I just want to say that unless something catastrophic happens, the Modern Streamers League will be back. We are in talks of doing a 3rd tournament, which will blend the 2 styles of the style of the first tournament and the style of the second tournament put together, having a team-based elimination style tournament. We'll see how we can make that happen and when we can make that happen.
Hopefully really soon.
Looking forward to that one. We've been talking some exciting ideas, so stay tuned. That's a little bit of a spoiler that we're going to have a new season, but it is very likely to be happening.
Unless something catastrophic happens.
Unless it's not happening.
Which would be catastrophic.
Unless yeah.
Francisco, do you have any closing remarks?
This was awesome. This was beautiful to be a part of. I loved to be talking Magic for ridiculous amounts of time. I loved commentating on other people's matches. That's not something that I do really often, if ever at all. So it was awesome to be put outside of my comfort zone, and probably I was here way more as a commentator than I was here as a player, because I actually got out rather quickly. So definitely it was very exciting to be doing commentary, especially when it's such a great format, such a great amount of players, such a great quality of players, and just bringing the best to the best place, the MSL.
Glad to hear it. Andrea, do you have any closing remarks?
Pretty much what Francisco said is right. It's just an amazing tournament to play in. Also, thanks Mike for putting it together with Chris and all the other people in the staff. It was really awesome, really well organized. It was a blast. Also got to meet some new people. Got to keep friendship alive, but playing with other people and just chatting was really awesome overall. And also thanks everybody for watching and rooting for me or against me.
Mostly against you.
Mostly against, probably.
I only rooted against you once because I didn't want you to go undefeated. But after that, I wanted you to win the whole tournament.
Good, good. Glad we got that out of the way.
Yep. So thank you, everyone. It's been fun. Thank you to all the players. Definitely check them out. Support the content creators you like. You like Francisco? Support his channel. You like Andrea? Support his channel. Support the people that are giving you content. And this doesn't mean you have to throw the money at them, which I'm sure they would appreciate that as well, but you could do that.
I don't mind that. I don't mind that.
Watch them. Message them. Reply to their chat. Support people who are making content of the game you love. And that's the whole kind of mission statement of the Modern Streamers League. We want to highlight these players. Check them out. Absolutely do that. So thank you, everyone. It's been a blast. We will see you soon. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.